this evening, and they have a time management schedule. They got to go do this for filming and this for a photo shoot, or if they're putting the video together, or especially for women. Women, it's harder because like they have to get their makeup, they have to have a certain dress, they have to get their nails done, they have to look a certain way, and they have makeup artists that will sit there on them for 6 to 8 hours to just do one photo shoot scene, or so it's stress on them to be awake, to keep moving. Like Whitney Houston was a huge star. I mean, we all watched her in action. I mean, she was on the go 24/7. Cocaine was a big drug for her. It was a big drug to keep her going, to keep her active. Do we need to know that she was doing it? No, we just needed her to get on stage and perform because she was amazing at what she did. I think Bobby Brown just took it to the more extreme level of trying to get her rolled over to a different drug, which more or less was more of an addiction now for her than it was the other. And I don't really so believe in that. I don't really so believe in having that influence from somebody else to influence you to do something that you weren't accustomed to doing. And Whitney Houston just got something that was bad. It shouldn't have happened that way, but it was meant to happen that way. It was meant to open eyes to other people, like, this is what's going on. Like drugs here in North Carolina, it's a big issue. One of the big things that's going on right now in North Carolina is fentanyl. Fentanyl is huge right now, and it's something that a lot of drug users need to be aware of and note that stuff is going around. And some people don't even know that fentanyl is so strong and so powerful. One grain of salt of fentanyl can kill you. And it's not like you get a second chance. It's not like you get to wake up or you get to go to the doctor and be like, okay, you're better now. It's just like you get that one tiny little grain of salt. You may not even be able to see it, and then that's it. You're going to go to sleep and you're never going to wake up again. And it's crazy. It's crazy that there's even people out there that are actually putting these drugs out, that are actually knowing that the stuff's in there, and then selling it to people. It's like, how would you do that? Like, what if that's your friend or something? I mean, maybe they're not friends. I mean, I don't see a drug dealer do it to his friend unless he's mad or upset. But it's crazy that they sell a drug. Like, this is happening, and the police actually caught this guy not too long ago. It was probably about 2 months ago they caught the guy. But he sold to my friend. But I don't know who he was. My friend's brother knew who he was. But he sold because my close friend did Xanax. He was real bad on Xanax, and he did heroin back in the day, but he went through rehab and everything and got off the drug. But he got into Xanax, and so he thought he had his Xanax, but it was cut in with fentanyl, and he never knew it, and he did it, and he died. My friend's brother was in the house at the time, and his mom, and he was dead for 15 minutes, and nobody knew. There was not a scream, there wasn't anything. He was passed out in his bed, cold. He was still warm. They say narco or something like that is supposed to bring you back and all this other stuff. And so I guess they had it, but it didn't work. And it's really crazy, that same guy that sold to my friend, literally, my friend never came back to buy anymore because obviously he's dead. But he sold to like 8 other people, and all 8 of them died. And he still went out selling the same freaking thing to the next person that would buy it from him. It's like, dude, what is wrong with you? And in society's eyes, you sell a drug that's going to kill somebody, it's just the same as committing murder. It's just the same thing. Just because you physically didn't do it, it's the same thing as committing murder. Because after that first person died, after doing your drug, the second guy, okay, I can see the second. Maybe there's something wrong with the first guy. Maybe he's got like a allergic reaction. But the second guy dying, it's okay. Okay, I'm not going to sell it to the third person. But the third person dying, and then the fourth, the fifth, it's like you're just killing people, bro. What's wrong with you? Over 40, 50 bucks. It's not worth anybody's life. And so that fentanyl's serious. It's a serious thing. And as an artist, I wanted to like try to find a song that I could write. In the country world of things, you don't really hear many country songs that talk about drugs. Although Kid Rock had one, there's Sheryl Crow, that talks about cocaine and whiskey. Little Big Town's got something in there to talk about cocaine and some other things. And I wanted to really write a song about it. So if anybody has any, like, anything that you guys written down that talks or speaks into drug-related issues or drug-related problems, or maybe you've lost somebody to drugs or something like that can relate to the drug problem that we have, especially with dealing with the fentanyl and things that are going around that are killing people, we create a song that creates a movement, so that way that user hears the song and they'll be like, well, maybe I really don't need to do that anymore. Maybe I am hurting myself, or maybe I could die, Or that person that's lost somebody and then heard the song and says, oh my gosh, that makes me feel so good, that the movement of this song is really changing things, because I lost so-and-so, and, it's not easy going through it, and they can tell their story about, how drugs have affected them or had lost somebody in their family. So if anybody has like any kind of brainstorming stuff or stuff that you wrote down that expresses anything in regards to drug usage today, or losing a friend, or losing somebody close to you that's drug related, feel free to share that with me, because I've been brainstorming some stuff. My friend was close. He actually hit me up through Messenger 3 days prior to that. I had stopped by and saw him 2 weeks prior. I had JC with me, and I think Jordan might have been with me too. We stopped by his house. We were playing in the front yard with his dog. We were throwing the stick and everything, and we spent time. I hadn't seen him for a couple of years prior to that, because I just moved back from North Carolina, from Florida. I was in Florida for like 7 years and then moved back. So I stopped by. I was driving through town, and I just stopped by randomly, and he was home, and he hit me up, and he's like, hey man, you can come back over, man, hang out, just chill or whatever. 3 days. This is 3 days prior to him dying, and never got the chance to go back over. I do feel good about me stopping by, the week prior, because he saw, last time he saw Jordan, like Jordan was 10 now. I moved out of here 7 years ago, so it's like he saw Jordan when Jordan was like 2. Jordan probably doesn't really remember who he was, but just to bring him by so you can see my son and how he's growing up and everything. It's a good reuniting feeling to do that. So it really did hit home for me, because it's like, even though I met back up with you and everything, we couldn't really spend enough time to really catch up on things. So, but yeah, if anybody has any thing that they want to share, with me on that, to create a song that talks about drugs, or talks about losing somebody, or anything like that, please share it with me, because I've been trying to figure it out, wrap my head around it, and how to approach it, and definitely the lyrics and what to say, but the meaning, more importantly, the meaning that would come across from the song. Is that I wanted to affect not only just the users, but the people out there that could be selling the drug, and also the people that have lost people, or lost friends or family, or anything from the drug, and have that song speak a message and really hit home for them. That makes them deteriorate or change their mind about doing certain things. And this is not in reference to marijuana, because I've never had an issue with that. Never really heard about anybody dying off marijuana either. Not only that, it's a plant, so I feel like the Lord put it here for reasons. Obviously, the government's picked up on that. They're using it for medical purposes, so it's like, I'm not really in reference to marijuana, but all these other drugs that are really, really hard, like pills, and they got morphine patches, all this crazy stuff, that they have that normal users like that smoke weed would never do. Those things are really what I'm trying to hit home on, because I don't want like the pothead to be like, oh my gosh, I can't smoke my weed anymore. I'm not mentioning that. I mean, most people that I know that smoke weed are like the most chillest, mellowest people. They don't really have many problems going on, because they're just mellow and chill. So it's like not really in reference to that drug, but all the other drugs that you guys know that are hard like that to just hit home for people with through music. And it can be done, it can be done. And I know, I am a songwriter, and I'm registered, I'm registered with BMI to be a songwriter and an artist, but it's always good to get other people's opinion. It's always good to reach out, because when you get multiple people writing the song, you get multiple viewpoints. So that particular person may have a view on something that you just don't see, but their view makes total sense. So you incorporate all those different viewpoints together to create something great. A lot of the songs today that are really, really great songs, if you look at the songwriter on it, there's multiple songwriters on it, and that's just because you've got a collaboration of great minds coming together to create something magnificent. So you'll see that industry around too. Thank you for sharing the stream. I appreciate it. Thank you. What other questions do you guys have? Anything? What time is it now? Any questions? Any questions? Besides Tiana's question, do you ever sleep? Honestly, since the virus, my whole sleep schedule's been off. I've never really been the one to stay up this late.
Okay, so but what's that got to do with me?
I've never been the one to actually talk to my phone.
What's that got to do with me, man?
20 hours a day. You know, it's like, so I have an iPhone. I don't know if anybody else has an iPhone out there, but something weird happened today where my phone popped up and it gave me a screen time. Like my iPhone has never populated any kind of message on my phone that says, it gives me a screen time recording of how long my screen's been active. I've never seen that before, so I thought that was very strange. It was hours and hours and hours, and I guess it's just my phone telling me, hey, you need to put the phone down, or you know, it's like going to overheat or something. But it gave me a screen time, which was very, very unusual. But I have never been on my phone this much. I've never was a streamer. I've never streamed, you know, other than like doing Facebook Live stuff or, you know, some shows and stuff that we had and all that, or just putting up a little quick video of what was going down that day for the show or whatever. But yeah, it's crazy. Like this whole virus situation has definitely messed up my sleep schedule for one. I used to go to sleep no later than 1 o'clock. Most of the time I was in bed sleeping by 12, but never sit up past like 1. If I ever did stay up past 1, it was because I was pulling an all-nighter, and you know, maybe I was at a friend's house and we were just going to stay up all night. Yeah, my voice, it does this when I get tired, it'll tire down. But once I rest, I can get right back up going again. It's just sometimes too, like, because I smoke cigarettes and stuff too, and sometimes, like for me, like with my voice, like some people are like, hey man, you need to quit smoking. You need to quit smoking. You don't need to smoke cigarettes. You sing all the time. What people don't know is that before I started singing, or before I started smoking cigarettes, I was singing at a very, very high pitch level. I didn't have the raspiness to my voice. I didn't have any of that stuff. When I got in the country, it naturally started falling together. And sometimes, like for me, like is that like my voice will start acting up, like I'm trying to do a woman or something. But I'll go smoke a cigarette, and I can sing right through it. Who is this artist? Aaron Lewis. If you guys look at Aaron Lewis, got a great, phenomenal voice. This guy's done tours. He's done all this stuff on the road. He sings great songs, and he smokes cigarettes consistently, back to back to back. And somebody asked him the same question: why is it you smoke cigarettes? You got a great voice. Because the cigarettes is what made my voice. It's what made my voice is what it is today. Brantley Gilbert, huge. I'm sure you got some Brantley Gilbert fans out there. Guy smokes cigarettes like 2 packs a day. He still comes out and cuts a great record, goes out and does a live show. He'll go backstage smoking cigarettes. He'll light the cigarette up on stage and not care. So some people will reference some things like, you know, cigarette smoke for voices, but for me it's not really a major effect. Now, do I want to stop smoking cigarettes? Yeah, I want to stop smoking cigarettes because 1, I hate the smell. 2, it's money. It's wasted money. More or less why I continue to smoke is because, I mean, I grew up with cigarette smoke. I kind of did. My mama smoked 2 packs a day, so she went to 3 packs a day. Now she's pretty much quit. She quit cold turkey. She tried everything, like the patches, everything. The gum, it didn't work for her. She had to quit, and that's because she just made a decision to quit. But I've been around cigarette smoke my entire life, and I mean, it has made my voice what it is today. If it wasn't for me smoking, I don't think I'd sound anything like I do now. Maybe great for your voice, but not your health. I mean, I totally agree with you. I mean, if I'm going to die, I'm going to die doing something I love versus just dying because of something else. I mean, you ask smokers that too. You know it's possibly going to give you lung cancer. Well, if you gives me lung cancer, it gives me lung cancer. You know, so some people they love to do certain things because they love to do them. You know, it's just like if you're doing something, you know it's going to kill you, but you love doing it. Are you just going to stop doing it so you don't have that love or passion anymore? No, you're probably going to keep doing it because you love to do it. And if it kills you, then it kills you. You know, it's meant to happen that way. So some people just do it because you do things in life because you love to do them. That's it. I know that I want to quit, but do I? No, because it's like a habit. You know, it's really what it is. It's a habit. It's that motion. It's the fact that I could take a cigarette break and, you know, or the person that's on a 9-to-5 job. Say, take this for example. The guy who's on a 9-to-5 job, you know, to take a break, you know, he has a break a certain time of the day, and he's got a certain people that he hangs out with, his work, his fellow employees and stuff. They go over to the smoke area and they have a cigarette. They catch up on things. They're talking while they're smoking a cigarette. It's like a routine almost in a sense. So say if that guy didn't smoke, you know, those people over there that he's been accustomed to doing the same things with, you know, for his whole time being at the job, and you know, he looks forward to that clock hitting right then and there, so he can go right over there and expect everybody to be there for a cigarette break. Now, if he wasn't a smoker, he wouldn't be going right over there, because you'll notice this at workplaces. Most of the non-smokers hang out with the non-smokers. The smokers hang out with the smokers, and then there's the non-smokers that go back and forth, and the smokers that go back and forth. But mainly, you're with your segregated groups of people. And most non-smokers don't like hanging out with smokers because they don't like the smell, they don't like to be in the air about it, they don't like to do this, so they just keep separate. So really, you know, by being partaking into the smoking, it's like I can create friendships there, and I can create friendships there. It's like I can be friends on both sides, and I don't have to worry about either or, which you can do that too if you're a non-smoker, but in my experience of people that are just non-smokers is that they don't really like to be around smoke, and they'll find means to not be around it more than, you know, they're okay with it. So these are all good questions, guys. Yes, I'm liking this. Wilson. Welcome. Thank you. These are awful excuses to keep smoking. Well, I'm not making any excuses to smoke. I just literally said that I want to quit smoking eventually, but I'm just not at the moment because in my life it doesn't call for the necessary means to. Like if I went to the doctor and he said, hey, doctor's like, you're only going to have 30 days to live if you don't quit smoking. Okay, if I quit smoking, will I get longer in life? Yes, if you quit smoking, we'll give you 6 months. Okay, then I'll quit smoking. You know, it's like, there's no excuses for it. I don't have an excuse to keep smoking. I smoke because I like to smoke. That's just how it is. So it's wait to get cancer to quit. Well, if I get cancer, then I get cancer. And that's just what it is. If I'm meant to die from cigarette smoke, then I'm meant to die from cigarette smoke. At least allow me to complete all the things that I needed to do that the Lord wants me to do before He wants me to die. Simple as that. I mean, there's no other way to simply put that. I mean, this is like one of those debates that can go on for a very, very long time. Every time you smoke, it kills you a little more. Is that a true statement or no? Because I could walk out of the house tomorrow, get in my car, drive down the street, and another car slams right into me head first, and I die. Does that have anything to do with cigarettes? No. So it doesn't kill you more. It's proven that if you put two lungs together, and one smoking and one that's not, yeah, maybe there's health issues there that could cause. But when it talks about life in general, you only get one life to live. You live it the way you want, and when your time comes, your time comes. And it's just that simple. I mean, this is an argumentable thing. Does cigarette smoke kill people? Let's see. I guess it could, but is that what killed the person? You have your options of weighing there. Does it cause cancer? Oh, of course, yeah, it causes cancer. Does everybody get cancer from smoking? No. So there's a lot of different argumentable things that you have that you can put towards that. I'm not going to go over to this guy and say, put your cigarette down, you're going to die from lung cancer, because he could die from a car accident, he could die from falling, there's a lot of different ways that he could die. You know, when you're talking about health issues and things like that, dealing with cigarette smoke, each individual is different. Not everybody's the same. I've been smoking cigarettes ever since I was 13. I'm 32 now. I haven't really had any issues with health. I breathe really good. I can actually hold my breath underwater for 1 minute and 20 seconds. I used to be 1 minute and 45. I mean, I have great stamina. I run. I take 3 or 4 runs a week. So, I mean, as far as health, I mean, I'm pretty healthy. Could I put on a little bit more weight? Yeah, I could, but I'm the type of individual that has a high metabolism. Like, I've been the same weight ever since freshman year. Like, that was 2002. 2002, I've hovered between 165 to 170. The most I've ever weighed is 188. And that was the year of 2010, or no, 2011 to 2012. I got up to 188. And I'm right back down to 168. I do not change. It doesn't matter how many bowls of cereal I eat, or how much steak I eat, or how much I eat. I don't gain the weight. I can't, like literally, I would have to, like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I've tried protein stuff, I've tried everything else, but I can't, because my metabolism, it's just how I am. But if you can control it, then why not? Yes, you can't control a car crash, but you can control what smoking may do to you. Yeah, absolutely. You can. I guess I could control that by not smoking. But it's not what I'm trying to say is what is that going to change for how my life plays out? It really doesn't change anything, because I'm doing something that I love to do versus doing something that I don't love to do. I mean, it doesn't weigh out. I mean, it doesn't make sense, but it makes sense to me. Like, I see what you're trying to say. What you're trying to say is that you don't want me smoking. I get that. That's what you're trying to say. But what I'm saying is, in my life right now, smoking is what helps with a lot of different things. It could be stress. It could be a lot of different things that helps me cope with what I have to, what I feel is best for me and how I feel. Why stop it if you love it? Because, my mom stopped, and my mom started at a pack. Obviously, started at a pack, 2 packs, and then she would have 3 packs a day. I can make a pack of cigarettes last me a good 4 days, a good 4 to 5 days, and that's pretty good, for a person that smokes. And 1 pack, normally most people go through a pack a day, and I was at a pack a day years ago. I was at a pack a day, but now, because I'm doing so much. I one pack like every 4 or 5 days, and eventually it'll wean down. Be a pack a week, and then eventually it'll just go away, and I won't even have to worry about it. Like, I'll pick up the pack of cigarettes, like, these are stale, I can't even smoke these. All right, screw it, don't worry about it. I do love it. I mean, it's a habit. I've been smoking ever since I was 13. Like, I stole my mom's cigarettes. Like, when she was in her room sleeping, I would go crawl on my hands and knees to her bedside nightstand and steal a cigarette and go all the way back across the other side of the house, out the side door, and smoke while she's sleeping, and she never knew anything about it. And then finally, I started doing it too much. And literally, she caught on because she'd wake up in the morning and she'd have cigarettes missing. And she started counting her cigarettes because she was thinking that she was smoking more than what she was. So she got me good one night. One night I went back into action, right? Back into action. So I'm like, get on my hands and knees, I'm crawling, and I creep the door open and everything. So my mom, she's in there fake snoring. She's fake snoring like she's sleeping. So I get my hand, I reach my hand up there. I reach my hand up there to grab a pack of cigarettes and break it down so I can pull them out. As soon as I reach my hand up there, my mom, like, she woke up. She didn't wake up. I knew she was awake, obviously, but she grabbed my hand real quick, right scared and grabbed at me. I was so scared. It was like, I was scared shitless. So she's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, I was trying to get my cigarettes. When did you start smoking? I was like, I've been smoking for a minute. She's like, I knew it was you. I knew it was. So yeah, my mom. That same day, she actually went out and bought me a pack of cigarettes. She was like, "You gotta stop smoking my cigarettes. If you're gonna be smoking, you can get your own." So, my mom's been a trooper, and a lot of things in life is what's kept me out of trouble, because my mom's always been there to have my back. Things that, like the first time that I ever smoked weed and all that stuff, she's like, "Son, if you're going to do that, just do it at the house. I don't want you to do it over at your friends. I don't want you to do it out. I'd rather you do it at home, so that way I know you're here and you're protected versus just going around random stuff." So, my friends would always come to my house and hang out and chill. never worried about anything. I never really got in trouble. So mom instilled good things in me. My mom's, she's an RN. She's been an RN for a little over a year now, but she was an LPN. Made more money than RNs did. In some cases, most cases she did because of her experience. But she's been a nurse for 35 years of her life. And my mom was a health guru. She knew she needed to quit smoking. She knew she did because she didn't have health issues from it, but she knew that she needed to because it was just her time of her life to do it. And my mom smoked cigarettes during the whole most of the 35 years of nursing because there's a lot of stress. People go through stress. And for my mom, it was something to relieve stress. It was to give her time with her to think for herself, just for a moment. And I think that's the same thing with me too. It's just that, when I smoke a cigarette, it helps me relax. It helps me clear my mind. I can just relax for a second. And I'm just sort of in the habit of doing it. And I guess that's what I love about it so much, is because it just gives me time. But I see what you're saying. I do. And health's a big issue. I'm 32 now. I didn't really have any major health issues, until about the 30s. I woke up one morning and my back was like, I couldn't work. It was like I was walking around the house like I was like 7 years old with a hunchback. I couldn't stand up straight. There was something wrong. I think maybe it was just the way I slept on it. I don't know. It was very strange and very weird. I did play basketball the day before, but I didn't really stretch much. I went in. I didn't have any bad feelings or anything from playing basketball, but I think maybe I just pulled something or something. But I put my body through hell, my entire life. I've been athletic. I've got brittle bone disease, so my bones break easier than most people that would have normal bone densities, but mine aren't. The only time I've ever broken anything was my wrist. I was only playing football, and my mom told me I was sport because of that. I'm off to bed. Nice talk, though. Hopefully, get some sleep too. Okay, Tiana, thank you so much, darling. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's a very nice talk. Thank you. You had some good questions. It was good. So I hope you sleep well. But yeah, I've always been very physical. I've always been a very physical guy. And I played a lot of sports. You fractured both collarbones? Oh my gosh, that's crazy. That is crazy. My brother did. He actually fractured a collarbone, and his whole shoulder came out of socket because he ran a dirt bike into a pillar, and literally it just pushed everything back and broke his collarbone. I broke my left wrist was what I broke. That's the only thing I ever broke. I've jammed fingers up and stuff like that. I wouldn't run anything, ever broken anything. Recovery for 3 months. I believe it. My brother was like, he was in recovery for like 6 months with a shoulder injury, and it was like, it was crazy. It was crazy. Yeah, I've always been physical. I've always been physical. I used to ride horses. I grew up riding horses. Like the first time that I was ever on a horse, I was 3 years old, and the horse bucked me off. I remember, frankly, a lot of it because the horse that bucked me off, my mom, 3 years old, I know when I hit the ground I was crying, and my mom put me right back on the horse, and I started screaming before getting back on because I didn't want to get back on. The horse just threw me off. So my mom put me back on, and she's like, son, you had to show horses that you're the boss. You can't let them control you, which is a very true statement. You can't, because if a horse knows he can control you, he can put you through hell, unless you know that he knows that you're in control. You're in control of everything. So she put me back on the damn horse. She's like, son, I want you to grab on this horn and don't let go. Do not let go of the horn. Because the first time I guess I let go because it started like jumping around and everything and bucking me off. So I held on to the horn, and I remember my mom, the horse, getting freaked out again and took off with me on the horse. So went through the woods, went through the pasture, went through everything until finally it stopped because it got tired, but I am still holding on to this damn horn. So my mom, she got in her car or something and drove down the road or whatever and came up to me wherever I was at. I was still on the horse. I rode that horse. 3 years old, my mom said, don't let go of the horn. I was not falling off this horse again. Held on to that horn. The horse takes off through the woods, through pasture, across the street, and I never let go. And that was when I knew that, you know, when you get on a horse, you have to show them control. You have to. It was crazy. It was a very crazy experience. And I grew up with, we still have horses. Like my mom, we have horses in Florida. I don't have any back in North Carolina. I do have a lot of friends here in the area and people that I know that have horses. Last time I rode was last year, but I grew up around them. You know, we had a 100-acre farm, and I think the most horses that we had on our property at one time was like 48 horses. You know, that I would go out and feed and bathe. And then my younger brother Casey he's a farrier. He got his farrier license, so he used to do the shoes on them. And you know how many times I've had mares give birth, you know, and watch a horse give birth. It's so crazy and awesome to watch a horse give birth, because the little baby, like the doe, comes out, the foal comes out, and like we're already like stumbling to walk up, and it's really cool. It's really cool breeding them. Not to get into the disgusting things of it, but it's just like man and woman. It's just enlarged, and you have to help. You got to help the guy, you know? And it's kind of weird and nasty to talk about, but just to have the experience of going through that stuff. It doesn't last long, maybe like, let's say 30 seconds at most, you're done, you know, and it's like, it's crazy, it's really crazy. But I mean, it's just that, you know, all those little experiences in life, you know, it adds up to who I am today, and I wouldn't change any experience that I've had or what I've been through. You know, I wouldn't want to change it. I'm very thankful and blessed for the opportunities that I have today, and it's all because of the decisions and things that I've done and put my life through to get to where I am. Like if I went back in time and changed any kind of episode, it would throw everything off. So, any other questions, guys? Any other questions? Sandra, when did it happen you broke your collarbone? When was it? Was that like a long time ago? I was 14. I was 14 when I broke my wrist. 32 now. At 14 I broke my wrist. 15 I got shot. 12-gauge shotgun. Me and my buddy were at his grandparents' house, and my close friend at the time, Gary, thought it would be wise that we go check out his grandparents' guns. He had like this, he had a safe cabinet, like glass cabinet, lock cabinet. He had shotguns and rifles and handguns on the bottom shelf and everything. So Gary goes and grabs a 12-gauge shotgun, not knowing that it's loaded, pulls it out of the case, and he's got it I'm standing right in front of him, and he points it down at the ground because he was going to open it. But when he went to go open it, it was a sensitive trigger and the gun went off. So, you know, a 12-gauge shotgun, literally, within 3 feet of me, goes through the carpet, hits concrete, and shatters all over my legs. So that was an experience. And then like the gun goes off, he shoots me. Well, he didn't technically shoot me because it was an accident, but I get hit by nothing but shrapnel all over my legs. So immediately, like when something like that happens, your body has, what do they call them, endorphins or something that kick in. You said 2017, 2018. So that was recent. That wasn't long ago. Wow, you just went through that. Anytime your body experiences something very, very significant, like either getting shot, getting stabbed, getting anything, like sliced open, cut, there's a adrenaline that your body like naturally like releases in your body to like take your mind off of it. You don't feel it. It's kind of like a numb type feeling. And I remember the sound of the shotgun, looking down and seeing blood all over my legs, and then I'm just on the floor, like thinking that I can't walk, but I really can walk, and I'm crawling to the door. So as I'm crawling to the door to get out, Gary's standing right there following me as I'm crawling with the gun. Literally scared the crap out of me. It's like, put the gun on. I didn't care that I was shot at the point. I was like, dude, just put the gun down. Just put the gun down. And he's still following me, holding the gun. I was like, just put it down. Just put it down. And I finally get out. I get out because we're in an apartment. It was like a bottom floor apartment. Three-story apartment, like condominium place, and we're on the bottom floor. So I get to the front door, and then once I get there, then I stand up, and I'm like, we're outside. He's ready to put the gun down by that time. He comes outside, and my main thing was just like, I need to see if I can walk. Can I walk? Can I walk? So like literally, I stand up, and I'm walking completely fine. I don't even feel anything. It just like feels tingly, like it's numb. And I started jumping around. I was like, bro, I can walk. I can walk. This is awesome. All right. And Jerry's like, oh my gosh, dude, I'm so sorry. What are we going to do? Oh my God, what are we going to do? I was like, well, first off, you got a hole in your grandparent. We went back in the room. And like literally where I was standing from where there was a huge hole, probably about this big. A hole this big in the carpet. And where I was standing was probably about a foot back from that hole. So it got almost up to a little above my kneecaps is where the last shrapnel as a height level came. But behind me was a dresser. So if you would turn around and look at the dresser, which was probably another foot back, literally there was shrapnel pieces that were at the top of the dresser. So like literally, if I would have been standing back another foot, it would have hit like up here. And if I would have been back even further, it would have got my face, it would have got a whole bunch of other stuff. And I was just very thankful to be that close to it. That way I only got my legs. So yeah, I walked around. We actually went to another buddy that lived in the neighborhood. We went